thinks he's so sneaky, but he doesn't even know what's inside those boxes yet. And I'm pretty excited for him to find out. All summer long, we're focusing on what it means to have faith. Faith is trusting in what you can't see because of what you can see. Sometimes we need a pause and take a closer look at what God is doing all around us. There are so many things that shows us that He is good, from the beauty of nature, to our friends and families, to the stories that we get to read in our Bibles. We may not be able to see God with our eyes, but when we focus on the things we know are true about God, we can see more and more that He is good, and that we can trust Him no matter what. Grinch, are you still trying to open those presents? Well, while the Grinch is still trying to open those presents, let's keep traveling through God's big story, talking about the Apostle Paul. Paul wasn't always a Jesus follower, but once he decided to put his faith in Jesus, he wanted to share the good news with everyone. Paul was always on the move. Wherever Paul went, he boldly preached the good news of Jesus. Many Jewish and Greek people listened to Paul and decided to believe in Jesus too. But pretty much everywhere Paul went, there would be a group of religious leaders who would try to stop him. Paul and his companions were forced to leave a town because of the group of religious leaders there. The leaders even followed them to a town called Berea. They ran him out of town too. So the Jesus followers in Berea helped Paul escape to the coast, where he could hop on a boat and travel to Athens. But before he left, Paul left instructions for his friends named Silas and Timothy to join him as soon as possible. Can you see how Paul boldly preached the good news of Jesus to others?
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story inspired by the book of Acts, chapter 17, verses 16 through 34.
Wherever Paul went, he boldly preached the good news of Jesus.
This Jesus I'm telling you about is the Messiah.
Many Jews and Greeks believed in Jesus, but in nearly every town, a group of Jews would gather to oppose Paul. He and his companions were forced out of Thessalonica, and then later that same group of Jews followed to run Paul out of Berea. Eventually, the believers helped Paul escape to the coast, where he could travel by boat to Athens.
Tell Silas and Timothy to join me as soon as they can.
Once Paul reached Athens, he walked the streets of the ancient city, disturbed by what he saw: carved and molded statues everywhere.
Statues of their gods. The people really believe false gods can help them.
In fact, the Athenians believed in around 30,000 false gods. Yeah, they believed these gods were in charge of everything from sports to sleep to doors and cleanliness.
A god of grapes. Okay.
While Paul waited for his friends, he visited the Jewish synagogue to tell Jews and Greeks alike about Jesus. And in the marketplace, he spoke to anybody who would listen.
You have to hear about Jesus. He was killed, but he came back to life.
Paul's words stirred up a group of Athenian thinkers. These men felt that they could achieve perfection through knowledge and wisdom.
Can you explain what this fellow is chattering about?
He seems to be telling us about gods we've never heard of.
We shall take this Paul to a meeting of the Areopagus. There, we shall reason it out.
Set high on an outcropping of rock, the Areopagus was the high court of Athens. And from this viewpoint, Paul could see all of Athens spread out below him. Closer at hand, the gathered Epicureans and Stoics studied Paul.
What is this new teaching you're giving us?
You have some strange ideas we've never heard before.
We would like to know what they mean.
Paul took a deep breath. These people treated new ideas like playthings, so he wanted to connect the story of Jesus with something they already knew.
People of Athens, I see that you are very religious in every way.
We are aware of this. Please proceed.
Paul recalled a small carved altar he had discovered while exploring the city.
As I walked around, I looked carefully at the things you worship. I even found an altar with "To an unknown God" written on it. Now, I'm going to tell you about this unknown God.
Paul explained to them that the true God created the entire world and everything in it. He created each individual person with a purpose and an adventure to live.
He did it so that people would seek him and find him, even though he is not far from any of us.
Preposterous.
Continue.
Paul knew that these Athenians might listen to the words of their own writers that might actually reflect something of who God is.
In him we live and move and exist. As some of your own poets have also said, we are his children.
What an interesting point.
Paul told them that people are God's children. God is alive and real, not some carved statue or molded from gold. And now by sending Jesus, God was telling everyone everywhere to turn away from the bad things they've done and to follow him.
God has proved this to everyone by raising Jesus from the dead.
Preposterous.
Fascinating.
More like fantasy. Get this joker out of here.
No. This is new, fresh. We will hear you speak about this again sometime.
A man called Dionysius had been among the crowd at the Areopagus. He hurried to catch up as Paul left.
I want to know more about this living God, about Jesus.
I can help you, friend.
So Paul continued to spread the good news and love of Jesus, and after a short time, Dionysius became a follower of Jesus, as well as a woman named Damaris and several others.
If you said Paul would talk to anyone who listened, you were right. Paul was able to talk about Jesus in a way that connected with the people in Athens. He used their own altars and writers to help them understand who Jesus is. And eventually, some people in Athens decided to believe in Jesus themselves, like a man named Dionysius and a woman named Damaris. Paul continued to share the good news and love of Jesus with the people in Athens because he knew this: you can help others know Jesus too. Just like Paul, we can help others know Jesus. So guys, let's go ahead and check in on the Grinch and see if he's opened those presents yet.
Finally, the perfect spot I've found to open up the presents that I stole. It was so easy. Now, let's see what's in this thing. Your little gifts, now I have them. What? There's nothing in that one. What the heck? What is this? There's nothing in this one either. What the heck? Such a ripoff, man.
Hey Grinch, the gift is faith. You can't see it in the box, but we can see it in other ways. Like when your parents show you love, patience, and kindness, and you do the same for them, it shows that Jesus' love is in your heart. And Jesus is the answer for everyone. He's the one God sent to be our Savior, our rescuer. Jesus made a way for us to have a relationship with God that would last forever. When Paul was in Athens, he used an altar to an unknown God to share the message of Jesus with the people. He spoke to them about things that the people were talking about and thinking about already, to try to help them understand who Jesus is. And the bottom line is you can help others know Jesus, just like Paul did. Just be real and talk in a way that they understand. And you can explain what a difference God has made in your life or how He's changed your family for the better. What you say is important, but remember, helping others know Jesus isn't just about what you say, it's also about what you do. So, you see, one of the reasons God sent Jesus is to show us what He is like. You can help others know Jesus by the way we live and by the way we treat others the way we want to be treated. When we treat people with love, respect, and kindness, they can see that God's love is through them. It's so cool. So putting others first is a big deal because it's not normal. It stands out. That's why it will help people understand who Jesus is and what He's done for us. When you do these kinds of things, you can help others know Jesus. Just like you parents, you can help your kids know Jesus.
Hi families, I'm Valerie LeMaster and I'm here with my lovely daughter, Shay LeMaster.
Hi.
What's up?
Don't do that, please don't do that, please. Thank you.
Guys, it's such a great opportunity for me to know about Jesus and to help teach Shay about Jesus too. Believe me parents, if I can do this, then you can do it too. The lovely part about Steamboat Kids is that they provide us with these really easy questions so that we can stay engaged with our children about Jesus. So Shay, when someone treats you badly, what do you think of and how does that make you feel?
Makes me feel mad and sad.